Let's build a desk. Hey everyone, welcome back to Jason Explains Things. As I said earlier, we're gonna be building a desk, and it's gonna be right here, and it's gonna be for my daughter, Marley. So here in the fall of 2020, schools are closed, at least physically, so schools are gonna be all remote, so we need to find an awesome place for Marley to do school. Ah, it's school right there. You like that?
Yeah, I do. It's a very good desk. Hang fixture.
Okay, so please forgive me for my terrible drawing skills. You're not here for my drawing, or maybe you are. Maybe you love this, right? 32 inches long, 16 inches deep. The center of the desk is going to be a maple veneer plywood. Along the edges is going to be some 1x2 walnut. That's just gonna make the desk all nice and pretty and also give it some more strength. Below the desk, this little drawing right here, this is the frame that's going to be mounted directly to the wall. Along here, you're going to have these L brackets that we're going to make ourselves out of walnut as well. And then above the desk, you're going to have this place to mount calendars, drawings, things like that. To kind of make it a little different and pretty, I'm going to be actually using sheet metal. So yeah, that's the basic design. Let's start building it. So getting started, the first thing I did is I replaced the blades on both my miter saw and my table saw to 80-tooth Diablo blades. These turned out really, really good, had really nice clean edges. Not sponsored by Diablo or anything, but these blades worked awesome. First, I cut down the maple veneer plywood to size. To get the final dimensions of 32 inches by 16 inches, I subtracted the width of the walnut boards that would make up the edge of the desk. 2 boards thick for the width and just 1 for the length. Next, I made the cut for the hinge. The thin portion will mount directly to the frame and needs to be deep enough so that all the hinges, L brackets, and the desktop can all fold flat. For my build, that measurement was 1 3/4 inches. Perfect. I didn't do this till later, but now would have been a great time to apply your edge banding before starting on the border. I'd never done edge banding before, and it was really easy. All you need is an iron set to cotton, firmly press, moving one side to the other. After the glue is dry, then clean up the edge with a razor blade and sanding block. Okay, let's get started on the walnut border. I used this cracked edge to make the border for the thin section that attaches to the frame. I ripped these small border pieces to the thickness of the plywood. This is necessary to allow the desk to fold up. I measured and cut the walnut 1x2 pieces for the main part of the desktop, using 45-degree miters for the corners. With that done, I used clamps, wood glue, and brad nails to attach the border. This is tricky, so take your time. Attention to detail makes all the difference. At the same time though, don't stress yourself out. If things aren't perfect, a little bit of sanding and maybe some wood putty will hide a lot. Moving on, let's build the frame that mounts to the wall, using 1x3-inch walnut. The top horizontal piece is 32 inches long to match the desktop. The vertical pieces are 11.5 inches long, so that when assembled, the frame and the folding portion of the desk match up. The vertical pieces are where our hinged L brackets will be mounted later. I'm using a Craig pocket hole jig, 1.5-inch fine thread screws and clamps to assemble the frame. Don't forget to set the depth of your jig and drill bit correctly. I used a scrap piece of plywood to check this to avoid damaging the walnut pieces. I used wood glue and brad nails to attach the thin part of the top to the frame and gave it a quick sanding. Okay, let's move on to those L brackets. The hinged L brackets were probably the hardest part of this project for me. I actually screwed up on my first attempt and had to build them twice. I made a mistake! These again use the walnut 1x2 boards. I actually modeled these after the yellow speed square you see me using throughout the video. 12 inches long on each side with a mitered diagonal support. For assembly, I clamp the pieces securely to a table and use glue and wood screws. Be sure to pre-drill and countersink your holes to avoid splitting. Later I came back and filled in all these holes with wood putty. This next step is totally optional. If you plan on using a laptop on your desk, now is the time to cut a hole for the cables. I used a 1.5 inch Forstner bit to drill a nice clean hole and then glued in a 1.5 inch diameter desk grommet into place. Assembly time. First, I attached the main part of the desk to the wall-mounted portion with a 30-inch long piano hinge. Pre-drill the holes before screwing it into place. Yeah, go ahead and see. Yeah, see?
So, like, this is gonna hang on the wall?
This part hangs on the wall like that, and then this part, it's upside down. And see, that'll be the hole there for your laptop cord.
And then these things will pop out like this, so I can fold them.
Yeah, but that's currently upside down. So yeah, like that.
Yeah, like this.
The brackets were clamped into place for installing the piano hinge. I used a grinder and a cutoff wheel to make 2 hinges out of one long one. Just like before, pre-drill and screw together and the desk is assembled. Let's build that cool magnetic picture board. Frame is 1x2 inch walnut with a slot in the middle so our sheet metal can slide in. This board can be as tall as you want. I decided on 14.5 inches tall, just trying to make everything look nice and symmetrical on the wall, both folded down or up in use. And just for fun, I used a polisher with an abrasive disc to add a swirl design to the sheet metal. Okay, time to apply some stain or sealant. I used Danish oil and did 2 light coats. Fill in any remaining holes with some wood putty and your desk is ready to be mounted. All right, so Marley, good luck with school in this spot for the foreseeable future. Thanks again, everyone. You know, it's been a really hard time out there for many of us, and that would include myself. I'm gonna end this video a little differently than usual, and I'm not gonna end it by saying we're all in this together or stay safe, because at this point, I feel like both those phrases have lost all meaning. Instead, I will say this: we all have the capability to be stronger, kinder, and better. Do not let outside sources overcome you with fear, and don't spread fear yourself. Just because someone disagrees with you does not make them evil or your enemy. You are more valuable than you possibly can know, and God loves you. Until next time, don't forget to do it yourself.